Hello everyone, welcome to Iron Mystic. What is Iron Mystic, actually, you may be asking? Well, we'll talk a little bit about that today. Iron Mystic is taking action to realize our desires of enlightenment. Now, I get it. They say, it's been said often, that to experience enlightenment or to come into your spiritual truth, you have to desire enlightenment more than the drowning woman desires oxygen. Now, that's the paradox of enlightenment because desire itself will preclude the enlightened state. Wow, this just doesn't get easy, does it? No, I don't think that it is easy. However, it doesn't necessarily need to be hard. Let me explain. Iron Mystic is all about taking the actions every day in our regular lifestyle that move us towards enlightenment, that move us in the direction of spiritual realization. There's no difference between the enlightened state or a practice of spirituality or transformation of self and something out there I need to go find and to travel to the ends of the earth to discover this truth that I can now bring back and implement into my life. It's not like that. It's right here, right now. I often, or when I was younger, I went through a phase that I thought I needed to travel to the ends of the earth to what I just talked about. And the universe said, well, no, it's all right here. So I realized, or the universe informed me that in my past lives I spent traveling and doing all these things. And he said, no, son, here now, your job is to be here now and proclaim, my son. Live, experience, and proclaim. Whoa, I like proclaiming. So it's all about taking the actions. It's all about creating a lifestyle that manifests what enlightenment or spirituality is. Also, the wonderful thing is, while we become enlightened, while we become spiritual, we're getting fit, we're becoming healthy. And the fitness and health, part of that goes deep into understanding what any kind of truth could be. If you've ever met an elite athlete who has really good sportsmanship, you'll notice that there's a certain sacred air about them. There's a certain purity about them. They're not out to con anyone. They're a true, real person, as real as it gets. I want to use an example. They're called the Tendai monks of Japan. This is one of the most intense schools of enlightenment on the planet, as far as I can see. The Tendai monks protocol consists of three phases. First phase is about 100 days. The second phase is, or the first phase is 300 days, and then the last phase is 100 days. The middle phase is 1,000 days. Now, each day of the protocol, these guys run a full marathon through the mountains of Japan on grass slippers. They have to carry about 9 or 10 pairs of grass slippers with them because they disintegrate. They have a big hat, their full spiritual outfit, like it's like a white robe that they wear, running a marathon in grass slippers. All they get to eat is a little miso soup before they go. They have to stop and pray at regular intervals. The crazy thing is they do this every single day, a marathon through the mountains wearing grass slippers, eating miso soup. Now get this, they come home every day and they have to do their regular chores, all the regular chores they'd have to do during the day, and they only get to sleep about 3 hours a night. I mean, it's like, oh, if I don't sleep 8 hours, oh, I'll die. Oh. Think about that. For 1,000, the biggest piece is 1,000 days straight, so 3 years, running a marathon every day, eating only miso soup and very little food, sleeping 3 hours a night. They say most of these guys are by, about 30 days into this, they get what they call the monk stare. It's this far off gaze that just where they finally come into it. And my point is, for describing the Tendai monks' protocols of enlightenment, is to get enlightenment we have to take actions. We have to practice. We have to do something. You sit around and read books and feel inspired. It just doesn't work that way. And I think we can to fool ourselves into thinking, oh yeah, I read a book, I feel great. I went to a seminar. Oh, now I feel great. And I'm ready now. I understand. I don't think it's as much about understanding as it is about feeling, as it is about connecting to the sacred, to the holiness, and bringing that sacredness and holiness into our lives and expressing that. Receiving, as a very good friend of mine constantly tells me, it's receiving and bestowing. God and the people that we are is about bestowing upon us God's love so that we can receive and then again bestow. And I really agree with that. I don't think it's so much about learning as it is about experiencing. The Tendai monks, very few monks make it through. Now, I'm not going to suggest that the Iron Mystic protocol is as vigorous and as intense as that. I mean, it would probably kill most of us Westerners to run a marathon every day. Knees, ankles, might not be the best idea for most of us. However, I do feel that we can approximate some kind of a plan like that, training, exercising, eating the right foods, working on maybe sleeping less, eating less, practicing in this way physically to move forward a lot faster, with a lot more purity in our enlightenment. I also know that another little story is I meditated for years, about 6 or 7 years before I had any success. Now, what got me success was one day I was at the gym. I did a fairly hard workout. I was squatting 400 pounds and deadlifting 350 pounds back to back, 10 sets. Now, if you've never been in the weightlifting world, that may not mean much. But for me, it was pretty intense. I was always never really had the good big lifts. I was kind of a hack. Hey, that's all right. I found my true mission now in life. So I was wiped out after that workout. I came home, sat on the couch, and I realized here I was because I was in that pure empty space that we seek in meditation. But once I realized that, once I recognized that, once language descended or dropped into that empty space, it was no more. But I still realized, wow, I'm completely calm, completely at peace. I'm just vibrating with this subjective, objective connection to all that is. And it was wonderful. And ever since then, once I added a meditation after a workout, whoa, things took off. And where I am now, mostly I meditate when I'm out in the training grounds, when I am rocking. What I like to say, meditative state at 40 kilometers an hour. I'm a cyclist, among other things. I like to run the mountain, lift weights, all sorts of stuff. But I don't put headphones in. I don't. I try to keep my mind focused on my breath, on my muscles. I also try to use, when I'm riding fast, I use my peripheral vision. So I'm not looking at any one thing. I pick a point ahead and I see everything. And what I notice is that has a very calming effect, or a like effect in my mind. So my mind calms down and slows, and I see everything at once. And I come into that space of pure presence, right in the middle of it all. And that becomes my practice. And I've found that 10 years of practicing in this way, I mean, I know that people will go off to the Himalayas for 45 years and just meditate. And that's great. I think the world needs those individuals to practice in that way. But most of us aren't going to commit to that type of absolute commitment. We need simple, relatively easy things that we can do in our life every day that move us towards that place. And I got to tell you, it's right on, gang. Right on. I'm going to keep this one, or again, we're going over time. I like to do that now, don't I? All right, gang. This is Harley from Iron Mystic. Rock and roll. Get out there. Live the life. Make the changes. Get back to me with any comments. Talk to you soon.